The DJI FPV comes with its own goggles, which is pretty cool and futuristic. And DJI makes goggles for the Mavics as well, at least most of the Mavics. And you don't have to buy this one if you don't want to. There are a bunch of third-party ones. Now, I'm not here to talk about compatibility. I made a video about that already for the Mavic Air 2. Check that out. But before you go diving into compatibility, let's see how the experience differs between these two platforms. Let's get started. They both have very different controllers, but the sticks seem very similar. Let's see if they function the same way. This is the DJI FPV controller, and this is the controller I'll be using for the Mavic Air 2 or the Mavic 2 Zoom or the Mavic 2 Pro. You can also do this with your stock Mavic controllers. You don't have to have the smart controller. It will function the same way that I'm going to demonstrate to you right now. All right. Let's fire these drones up, get them up in the air. First, we're gonna start with the DJI FPV. I've got the controller in my hand, got my PGY Tech. Landing mat down, yes, thanks PGY Tech, shout out to you. All right, so let's go up. Okay, so let's start with the right stick. Let's move to the right. Move to the left. Left stick up, left stick down, up, down, spin to the left. Spin to the right. Let's switch over to sports mode. Up, down. Oh, it's just a lot faster. But up is up, down is down. Right, left, right. Lot faster, but seems to be doing the same thing. Forward goes forward. Backward comes backwards. Here we go. Forward, back. No sensors now. Let's go up. Doesn't seem to hold altitude too well. All right, so let's get the Mavic Air 2 up. There we go. Okay, this one has rear sensors or down on the beep. I'll keep it just a little bit low for safety so I could still hear it. Let's look at the controls, right? Let's start with the right stick and moving to the right, moving to the left. Let's push forward. As you can see, it's a lot less fidgeting with me because it holds its altitude much better. That's going forward. That's coming back to me. There we go, up, down. What about spin? Can this spin to the left? Yes. Spin to the right. Yep. And this has a sports mode too, which will unlock some speed at the flip of a button. Bang. Same movements, nothing has changed in sports mode, just seems a lot, jittier, faster. Yep, a lot faster in sports mode, but same concept. Let's try the up and down. Forward, sorry, back, yep, on the right stick, same thing. It does the exact same thing, just no sensors, so I come pretty close and jet forward. Now, I will say the Mavic Air 2 is doing a much better job of holding its altitude. The new FPV drone, I constantly have to keep jittering with it and messing with it. Now that you see that they both move and respond the exact same way, how about the footage? Does the footage look the same? Well, up and down pretty much looks the same. The FPV drone is just a little bit faster, but that's about it. They both look the same in the image, side by side, as you can see. Yawing left to right is pretty much the same as well. Both drones look pretty much the same. Forward and back is pretty much the same too. The Mavic does do a little better job of keeping the horizon straight. The FPV drone footage kind of tilts, as you can see, whereas the Mavic footage kind of keeps the horizon nice and straight, and that's because the FPV drone only has one gimbal that moves down and up, while the Mavics have 3-axis gimbal that moves in multiple directions. It helps to keep that footage straight and stable. But check this out. Hit the 3 dots at the top right, go under control here in the settings, and then look under gimbal mode. Under gimbal mode, there's 2 options: follow mode, which comes standard, and then there's FPV mode. Click that mode that says FPV mode. Connect this HDMI cable that the goggles comes with and put it on. I could see everything that I can see on the screen. I can see in the goggles. You could fly with the goggles or with the screen or both if you want, so that's pretty cool. Now we're in FPV mode, and yeah, let's just go for a cruise. I'll hit record. Now moving forward looks the same, moving left and right looks the same. The image hasn't changed. I'm cruising, I'm cruising, and I want to bank this turn. Let's go full jet, 200 feet. And let's make a bank. Oh, there we go. Just take the left stick and slightly twist it. As you can see, it maintains altitude very well. And there you go. You can bank around the turn. Pretty nice. Bank around the turn. Oh, still maintaining that 200 feet. Not exactly smooth because I'm in sports mode, but look at that. I could turn some more. There you go. So just by using the left stick to give that FPV tilt, you can, it looks like, get the same effect. I can tilt the other way too if I want. There we go. Stay closer to the curb. Not bad, guys. Not bad. You can curb around this bridge. Here we go. I got the full FPV feeling with the goggles on and everything. Whoa, that was too crazy. Good. Now we've got the DJI FPV. Let's start that one up. Sticks down and in. Let's take it off. 200 feet. I'm cruising, just like I did, but you could see I'm only using one stick to get that tilt. With the Mavic Air 2, I needed to twitch this to the left if I wanted to tilt to the left, and twitch this to the right if I wanted to twitch to the right. Let's go up to 200 like we were with the Mavic. There we go. And this one is a lot twitchier, I guess you could say, right? A lot more twitchier. Here we are. We're going to cruise, but you could do it with one hand. That's the difference with this. You could do it with one hand. If I want that leaning left, see that? There you go. I could do it with one hand. Now I use this left stick to kind of counter correct, kind of similar, but not exactly the same thing. I actually think it's easier to fly the FPV with the Mavic than it is with this. It just seems more counterintuitive to me, or maybe I'm just used to the Mavic. Okay, let's spin around at 200 feet and see if we can do this. Let's kind of bank this turn. Well, I'm kind of banking a little too fast. Let's go forward a little bit and then bank. There we go. There we go. I got a forward bank. Let's bank the other way. There we go. Oh, and then come around and land. So we got kind of similar. Whichever platform you decide to learn on, whether it be this because it operates like this, or you choose to use the Mavic, none of these two equate to what ADI mode is. So if you're thinking, well, I'm gonna go with the FPV drone because that's going to train me for manual mode, which is attitude mode, no, none of the two. Okay, it's coming back. Now, just for the heck of it, I've decided to hook up the Mavic 2 Zoom and see how that flies in FPV mode. This thing climbs pretty fast too, and this one is a little faster than the Mavic Air 2, so if you own this one, you'll get a little bit more speed out of it, a couple miles an hour more. All right, let's hit the three dots at the top right over here. I think that will be on the gimbal for this one. Here we go, and you just select FPV, and there we go. Now we're in FPV mode, so let's see the difference now. Oh, look at that. Look at that. With the Mavic 2 series, as soon as you don't need the left stick either, you can fly the same way that it flies with the FPV drone. See that? It flies exactly the same as you would with the FPV drone. You don't need the left stick to do anything. All right, so let's take it for a spin. Let's take that bank, swing it around, come around. Not bad. So this, the Mavic 2 series, for some reason, look at that. You just need one stick to get that FPV. Whereas the Air 2, they kind of, you know, made it what they call a little more improved. I kind of like the Air 2, the way it is working with the left stick. I feel you get, you know, you can get smoother video, I think. This one does a pretty good job too. All of them did a pretty good job landing. There's something else that needs to be taken into consideration, and that's field of view. Let's check out the width of each one to see how wide it is. Looking at the Mavic 2 Zoom first, from the extreme right where the orange brick is, I lined the drone up and I sat it down on the mat. You could see that you can see less of the trees compared to the Mavic Air 2. You could see a little bit more of the tree. The FPV drone, you can see like in between the trees over there, but it's a lot taller. You can see the complete street lights. It's just a more broader, not necessarily wider view. I think the Air 2 is wider, but the FPV is definitely taller view. So let's come to a conclusion about this whole FPV modes. First, starting with the Mavics. Number one, longer battery life. You'll get way longer battery life with this guy. Second, you've got DJI refresh insurance. Whether you're flying the Mavic 2 series, the Pro series, or the Air series, refresh is much cheaper, and the deductible if you crash is much cheaper with these than it is with this, right? This is probably the most expensive insurance package that DJI has put out there for this drone. And why is it so expensive? Because the likelihood of you crashing this is probably 10 times to 20 times more than you crashing one of these. Number three, this comes with an entire suite of other features, right? Same thing with the Air 2, from not only FPV mode, but you can do tons of smart shots with it, active track and stuff that's pretty unique to this. The zoom capabilities that this comes with. You can get that 3-axis stabilization that gives you that Hollywood look. This will have more sensors, whether you're talking the Air 2 or the 2 Pro, which also has side sensors which work in like active track mode and stuff if you're tracking. Much easier to fly with a controller and a goggles. You can fly with both and get both views going at the same time. This folds away and tucks away pretty nicely with its foldable design and its foldable props, so take that into consideration. The advantages of this new bad boy right here, you've got 60 miles an hour in sports mode, which is just crazy speed. 60 miles an hour is really fast. FPVing with a wider field of view just means you can see more, and you can see if you're going into anything. It'll give you a better view while you're flying to help you bank turns with more confidence, because you can just see more of what's coming. Also, this has the handheld controller that gives you a kind of a new way to fly. If maybe you just have one hand and you need to fly, right, you can use that new motion controller. If you just don't like flying with sticks, this has options and other ways that you can fly it. Last but not least, and probably the most important reason of all, is because of manual mode or acro mode. And I think that's where this drone really lies. If you want to fly FPV, acro, or manual flight, then this just doesn't have it. This is the only way that you can go. Definitely you should start on a simulator before you jump into manual or acro. If you've already found yourself on the simulator, already found yourself comfortable and ready to give this a shot and to get that full control over this drone, that's what it's really about. And I think that's the primary reason that people are buying this drone. Now let's talk cost. To get this full FPV experience, I'll leave links in the description section of this video so you can go browse around, click on the links and check out the prices for yourself. But just to give you a rough estimate, this here is like $1,300, but it only comes with one battery. But you do get the controller, you do get the goggles, and everything that you need to go FPVing out the gate, but not much battery life. So by the time you're $1,299, let's call it $1,300, you need the Fly More combo, that's another $300. Now you're at $1,600. Plus refresh, that's $200. You will need refresh for this, so you're at $1,800. Will get you up and running pretty smoothly with this guy without having to worry about buying any kind of accessories, and you'll get lots of flight time and you'll get that full FPV experience. This Mavic Air 2, however, comes with the controller like this, the actual drone, and 3 batteries to get you up and flying for $1,399, call it $1,400, but no FPV experience, but you're at $1,400 already. Put $200 or $300 more and you can get one of these. Put $100 and something if you don't want to buy the official DJI one, and you can buy any goggles on Amazon for $100 and something with a HDMI cable. That's all you need to plug into your smart controller, and that will bring you roughly to about $1,800 as well to get the full package, FPV mode and smart controller experience and the full shebang, so to speak, with this guy. It's now up to you to choose whichever one works best for you, or whichever one suits what you want to do most with a drone. If you already purchased your Mavic Air 2 and you don't have a smart controller, you might think, you know what, here's an idea. Instead of going and buying a whole new package for $1,200 to $1,800 to fly FPV, maybe I already have the Mavic Air 2. I'll just buy the smart controller and the goggles because I don't need the full acro manual flight experience, but I do want the immersive FPV experience. And then you get, you know, a little bit of upgrades. This is great. You can keep this for business, and this certainly looks good showing up at a job. Not only will you get the FPV experience, but you're kind of upgrading your flight, and this is great for flying in direct sunlight. Look at that as an option. Also, if you know, buying the FPV drone or the smart controller is completely out of the question, then I did a video here that shows you how to buy a goggles that you could put into your smartphone, pay like 20 something bucks for an app that you could put on this, and also get the FPV experience with this. So they are options. Check out that video link in the card up above over here as well. This video is all about perspective, and I hope that I was able to put things in perspective for you. Also, if I left out anything or forgot to mention anything on any one of these two platforms, be sure to let me know in the comment section below so others can see and make a better decision as well. Please give me a big like, share this video in your favorite drone groups, hit subscribe, and hit the bell so you get notified when I release new videos. With that being said, I will catch you guys in the next one.
Make sure you become a Patreon, guys. Big benefits to Patreon. Get direct access to me. Any questions? I'm right here on Patreon. Support this channel, and there's benefits. Last Mini 2 went all the way to the UK.